Okay, so this is basically a tutorial how to solder this ESP32 training board. So this is basically the board, and this board is really just a simple breakout board which allow for your ESP32 to be mounted here, and then you can access the pinout to this side. Alright, so what you need to solder this ESP32 training board is basically male header. You need 2 of this male header and 1 of this female header. So the female header goes here. There are 2 parts of this for mounting your ESP32, and for the breakout pins is basically to this side, and which basically you need to cut your pins header into multiple pieces. So for example, to this side here, we need to have in this arrangement. Okay, so this is basically to this side, and which means that you need to solder this, the back part of this training board, and for this female header, this is basically over here. So to solder this, you need this. This is a cutter, which is basically to cut this into desired length. So you have to make sure that you have all the pins that you want to cut with, but make sure that you cut on top of one of the extra pins. So you have to sacrifice one of the pins. So for example, that if I want to cut here, so exactly here, so I need to sacrifice one pin to make it easier for me to cut them. Right, so just cut, and just be very careful when you're cutting them. Right, so now you have this. Okay, so you need to use you need to cut just to clean everything. Okay, something like that. Alright, so now we need another part, the second part here. So the second part also the same. So just measure them exactly the same length. So you have to sacrifice one pin so that you can get clean cut over there. So there, right. Okay, so and then you have your right, so now you have your 2 female header. Put it just like that. Right, so now you have in this configuration. So there's one more section that you need, is basically to the left here, to this part here. So one more, you can just snap them, and then you get something like this. So now you have everything that you need. So you can just put it the other side, and you can start to do the soldering, but you don't solder all the pins at once. So to solder them, so you need to use this soldering iron. So make sure that you clean the tip of the head properly. Get something cleaner like that. Set the temperature to 350 Celsius. Sometimes you might need to soak them in okay, so don't just straight away solder everything. Just do the first pin. Okay, so and then later we'll do some adjustment, minor adjustment to them. So to solder, you have to be very careful. So this is basically how you put your hand This is the soldering lead, and this is your solder. So make sure that this is basically how you put how do you solder things. So we start with the one only, so we start at the top, so make sure that you get good, so one here and another one here, so that you can get them to align first. So we start one here, the same, the rest. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we'll start with the top section first. So now we take a look at the bottom again. So we just do some arrangement if something that is not aligned properly or sit properly. So you might want to do some minor adjustment to them. So like for example, that I have this gap here, and also the rest, if I can see that there's a gap in there, so I can do some adjustment first before I can do all the soldering. So I'm going to do minor adjustment to this part, okay, so that everything's straight and flush. Okay, let me do the third line here. Okay, so seems they are properly aligned. So what I mean by align is that you can see that they're straight, okay, straight, and then there's no gap here, and all the pins properly aligned, okay, just like that. Okay, so there's no okay, that seems everything seems to be okay now. So what we can do now is to start the soldering process. Right. So yeah, to solder, put everything away. Be very careful. This is very hot. Okay, so we'll start soldering. So the soldering, you need to be very precise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now done with the first line. Everything seems to be okay. Go for the female header. So if quite, you can just rotate them, and always check if sometimes somehow they just misalign. So start with the top one, and then go down, 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 down. Okay, done. So next line, so I'm going to go for this part here. Okay, alright, seems to be okay, still properly aligned everything. So moving on, so this is going to be a little bit tricky because it's right in the middle, so just be very careful. Okay, so next line. Okay, final line. Okay, done. So don't worry when you put the soldering tips on top of the PCB for like 3 to 3 seconds should be no problem. So just put it on top on the metal part there and then just meet in the middle. So it just will burn the liquefy the soldering lead and you get good contact. Okay, you should be able to see everything nicely solder there. Okay, you should get like small mount there, and it should provide good connection. Okay, so you can see everything lined up properly. All the soldering paste at the bottom down here all look very nice, very good and flush. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now you can use this for your ESP.